Hello, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, we are going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night Mateusz versus Rodriguez. And let's start right away from the bottom. We have a lot of fights on this card because the UFC just decided to sign half of Serbia because they went to Serbia without having any Serbian fighters. So now they're in a situation where they just had to sign a whole bunch of fighters that have no idea who they are. So here we go, starting with the first fight of the night. Marina Spasic versus Stephanie Luciano. I'm going to be using the logic that Stephanie Luciano has been in the UFC. She's actually a pretty good fighter in the UFC. I don't really know what Spasic is doing here other than the fact that she is from Serbia, as you'll see, as many of the fighters are. And she's not even that good. Let's see her record. 7-1, so that's fine. It's like a decent record. I don't know why they're making her debut against Stephanie Luciano, who's actually pretty decent. Her only loss is to Sam Hughes, and that's just what happens. You'll see this a lot of, well, she has 2 losses, actually. I don't remember who the other one was to. Doesn't matter. I don't think it was in the UFC. The point is, she's cut her most recent loss is to Sam Hughes. It happens to the best of us. You can call her a female Neil Magny if you'd like. Point is, I'm going to be picking Stephanie Luciano by decision because it's a women's fight. And Marina Spasic doesn't have any fights. If you just look at the website, if you refer to the UFC website themselves, she has never fought before, and she has no reach, no height. She's a midget. She has 0.0 inches. So I'm picking Stephanie Luciano. I will not explain myself further. Moving on to the next fight of 2 fighters I've never seen before. Jovan Leka versus Alexander Poppeck, probably. I'm picking Jovan Leka. Wow, so only one of his fights registered? I don't understand why it says even 1-0. It should just be 0-0. Let me look at Topology for a second to tell you anything about these people. Jovan Leka is 13-2, and Alexander Poppeck is 21-5. So you might think Alexander Poppeck has more experience. Let's go with him. But the thing is, first of all, there's a 10-year difference. I believe Leka is 24 and Poppeck is 34. And usually when it's that big of a gap, I will go with the younger fighter. And the other thing to keep in mind is that Poppeck is actually a light heavyweight, moving up on short notice to heavyweight to fight this guy. I don't know who he was originally supposed to fight, but here is Poppeck. But he's going to be smaller. He's going to be older. He has more losses. Like, I value, what was the records again? 13-2 over 21-5, you know? So I'm going to be picking Leka. If you notice, I didn't mention anything about their fighting style because I've never seen either of them fight. I don't know. I can't do 3 days worth of research for each card. It's not practical, and I've never heard of these guys before. We're moving on. I'm picking Leka, and he's a favorite. Yeah, he's a sizable favorite. To Hailey Cowen versus Nina Milosevic. I'm going to be breaking my rule of picking the UFC fighter. I'm actually going to be picking this woman, who we don't know what she looks like, because that's another rule that I have, that if we know someone's shit, we pick against them even if we haven't heard of the other person. So we know Hailey Cowen is shit. Her record is 7-5. She's won. If you just took one of her wins and turned it into a loss, she has a 500 career, you know? So she's win one, lose one kind of fighter. She's coming off of a nasty KO loss to Alice Pereira, who, no relation to Alex Pereira, by the way. This 19-year-old Mexican girl fucking knocked her out with a knee to the face. That's brutal. Look, Nina Milosevic, what's her record? 8-1, which is pretty good for a female, you know? I believe there's some finishes on there too, which is rare in this economy. So she should win this. Like, will Hailey Cowen be able to use her veteranness and win? Very possible. But the thing is, the girl that she lost to lost the fight before that in the UFC. So, like, it's not even like Alice Pereira is that good. She was coming off of a loss in that fight and then, like, put a beating on her. It wasn't even competitive. So I'm picking Nina Milosevic. Should we pick by decision? Should we pick by knockout? I don't know. We'll say by decision again. I never trust women to get finishes. Sorry. Not sorry. Wow, he's a big favorite. Mateusz Rebecki versus Kyle Prepolec. I did not expect him to be a minus 550 favorite. That's ridiculous. I don't think if these guys fight 5 times, Mateusz Rebecki wins all 5 of them. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's 5 times more likely to win than Kyle Prepolec. I'm going to be picking Rebecki. Why am I picking him? First of all, he has a win in the UFC. That's already more than Kyle Prepolec could say. He's 0-4 in the UFC. He fought in the UFC twice. They didn't re-sign him. And then he came back recently to fight BSD on the Canada card. Ended up getting finished. Like, BSD, this was the first guy that BSD beat after going on his loss streak. And then after that, he lost again to Drew Dober. Now, was it weirdly competitive for no reason with Drew Dober? Yes. Was Drew Dober going to lose that fight because a point got taken away because he got kicked in the balls and nobody else on that card who got kicked in the balls was a point taken away? Also, yes. But did Drew Dober fucking bum rush him and knock him the fuck out? Yes, that happened as well. I'm not going to say bum rush. You know, we respect Drew Dober on this channel, but I think Mateusz Rebecki, in a way, kind of has that Drew Dober build. And the thing is, he also has really good grappling, and BSD did completely outgrapple Kyle Prepolec with ease, you know? So I do think Rebecki will be able to use the grappling if needed. And I think on the feet as well, Rebecki has more heart. We've seen Kyle Prepolec now get knocked out and get submitted back-to-back. So he's not really good at anything. What do you do, bro? Which martial art do you actually do? I don't know. He has an abysmal record of 18-10. Mateusz Rebecki is 20-5. And most of those losses just happened. So he was probably like 20-2. Not so long ago. And the people he's losing to, it's not that bad. Chris Duncan going to a competitive decision with him, it's not that bad. He just lost to Grant Dawson. I actually picked him to lose to Grant Dawson. It was a risky pick. But that was him getting out-grappled, and he did fumble it a little bit. He dropped Grant Dawson, could have gotten a finish, but didn't have the best fight IQ. He beat Earlby, which is just like a good win, objectively. Earlby is doing good stuff these days. And so I'm going to be picking him. I don't have to really go into full detail. I think this is an obvious pick seen by these odds, which are ridiculous. These odds are absolutely ridiculous. We're picking Mateusz Rebecki by knockout, I'll say, by ground and pound TKO. Let's move on to the next fight of the night. Denis Buzukja versus Bogdan Grad. This is an interesting one. There was a time where Denis Buzukja was talked about as the next big thing. He trains with Aljo. He trains with Merab. He's shit. That's the new thing we're saying about him. I don't know what he's learning with these guys. Do they just ragdoll him? Is that what it is? I feel like each fighter, they have like their teammate who they swear by, who's just terrible, you know? And he's that one. He's coming off of a terrible knockout. He was out cold badly by that Brazilian guy. I don't remember that guy's name, but they're calling him Brazilian Elliott. He doesn't look like him, but he hits like him. He hits like a truck, and Denis Buzukja got knocked out. I believe he only has one win in the UFC. Let's look it up real quick. The 12-6 record. That's ridiculous. This card just doesn't have good fighters on it. They just, oh my god, terrible. He's 1-4 in the UFC. His only win is against Connor Matthews, who I'm guessing is not even in the UFC anymore. Let's see, has he won since then? Oh yeah, he lost 2 more times after that. Got knocked out by Jose Delgado, which is not a bad loss. Regardless, Buzukja, he's just not that good. Bogdan Grad, he's coming off of I think 2 losses. I think he might be 1-2 in the UFC. He's not that good himself either. But who did he lose to? Luke Riley by knockout, which, like, I mean, fair play. Kai Kamaka III is in the same group as you, and I think Kai Kamaka III also beats Denis Buzukja. Besides for that, he had one more loss by decision, but he looked all right in it. I think he's going to win this one. I think he wins this by decision. I could see him using grappling. I could see him using striking. He's pretty well-rounded, and he just comes to fight. He's going to scrap. And I think the theme of this card is people who are willing to scrap versus people who I've seen quit when they get into a scrap. And in this case, Bogdan Grad is the type of guy who's going to come to scrap, and I think he'll be able to outpace Buzukja and win by decision, maybe even a knockout. Speaking of scraps, Borislav Nikolic versus Marc Vologdin. This is like a tough fight for Vologdin. I really like Vologdin. He's super entertaining. If you haven't seen his fight on Contender Series, I suggest you watch it. One of the craziest fight I've ever seen. Probably the best fight on Contender Series. Just went to an absolute scrap. And then in the UFC, I believe he's 0-1-1. He lost. Wait, no, he's just 0-1. He only has one fight in the UFC. It went to a draw because he got kicked in the groin multiple times, so they took a point away. But he lost 2 of the rounds. So that's where it's like, in a way, obviously the loss shouldn't go on his record, but if we're breaking down fights, he lost 2 out of 3 of those rounds, so he technically lost that fight. And the real problem is, so he's really good. He's like, he has good boxing combos. He has a good chin. He'll go forward, has a crazy pace. The problem is, this right, I don't know if you can see that. Let me just scroll up for a second. You guys see this height? He's 5'3". That's a very big problem at bantamweight. We think of Peter Yan as a short bantamweight, and he's like 5'5", 5'6". Marc Vologdin's 5'3". That's a short flyweight, you know? Like, Joshua Van is 5'5". This guy's 2 inches shorter than Joshua Van. Joshua Van would dwarf him. That's pretty crazy. And Borislav Nikolic is 5'9", and he's pretty big for a bantamweight, and he's also pretty good. He has a pretty decent record. We're gonna have to resort to Tapology again because the UFC, all these silhouettes are fighting this weekend. Like I said, all these Serbians who are like have decent records just got signed this week, and so this guy's record is 16-2. And he's actually pretty good. And the thing about him that I like, that makes me pretty confident in him in general, is that he gets a lot of finishes later on in the fight. His last fight, he got a first round finish, but the two before that, both of them were round 4 finishes. So he is just there to scrap as well. And if we're looking at a scrap between Nikolic and Vologdin, which is what it's going to be because they both have good chins and they both have a lot of power, I think Nikolic will be able to bully him a little bit with the size. What are the odds over here? Yeah, he's a slight favorite, not a slight, 185 favorite. He should win this one just based off size. Like, I think Vologdin really has to go down to flyweight. I think that's the only option. I really like him. He's super entertaining, but he could get bullied a little bit. Even in his last fight, he didn't even fight someone that big, but he already got bullied. And Nikolic is going to have a huge reach advantage, a huge height advantage, a huge size advantage. He's just going to be so much bigger. And because of that, I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win by decision. I don't think either of these guys are going to knock out. They both have really good chins, and they both have a lot of power. Again, like I said, this is going to be a scrap. A lot of the fights on this card, by the way, because like I said, they're all no names on this card, but it's going to be a scrap. This card's going to be really good. That's my prediction for this. I think Nikolic wins by decision. It's going to be a scrap, probably fight of the night. Let's move on to Oban Elliott versus Michael Oliveira. I'm going to have to pick against my boy, Oban Elliott. I'm just going to have to. He's a big underdog, and for good reason. Like, man, there was a time where we spoke about him as the next big thing. He knocked out the corpse of Basel Hafez. Knocked him out. We're like, oh my god. And then he fought Hyuk Sung Ko. Yeah, I think I said that correctly. And he lost. And then we decided that Hyuk Sung Ko is the next big thing. But then he just lost. And I don't really think that. I think that decision could have gone the other way. But regardless, he's not as good as we thought he is. We have to at least admit that Hyuk Sung Ko is not as good as we thought he is. And then Oban Elliott lost again. He lost to that Australian guy by the name of, I'm buying myself some time because Tapology is loading, by the name of, Jonathan Mikhailov. He lost to Jonathan Mikhailov by submission, dropped Mikhailov early or hurt him on the feet, but then he just got taken down by a rocked opponent and got submitted. And it was kind of weird how easily he got submitted. I don't think he's going to get submitted in this fight. Michael Oliveira is 9-0. I think 8 of them by knockout, or at least 8 of them by finish. A lot of power, and very patient for a guy with power. Like, he won't try to rush it either. He'll just be patient, and then he'll land on you and he'll knock you out. And I think he's going to knock out Oban Elliott. I don't want to be biased. If I was biased, I'd pick Oban Elliott. I like him a lot. The Welsh gangster, you know? The Welsh gangster, come on. But also, he did go to a decision with, what's that guy's name? Wood? Something Wood. He has Wood in his name. Damn, I don't remember that guy's name, but he has a really bad decision on his record. Like, somebody who he absolutely should have finished. What's that guy's name? The guy who... Where is he? Here, Val Woodburn. I knew it had Wood in it. I said Wood. He went to decision with Val Woodburn. Bo Nickel victim. Val Woodburn. Bo Nickel flatlined him in a round. In like a minute, I think, even. And Oban Elliott is just going to decision with this guy. I'm sorry, man. I don't want to sentence you to death, but I think you're going to get flatlined by this Brazilian giant in Michael Oliveira. He's also taller. He's bigger. Contender Series, that's why we can at least see what he looks like, and he's not just a silhouette. We're slowly going to get... Guys, one day, there's a prophecy that one day we'll be able to just see what fighters look like, even if they haven't been in the UFC yet. Maybe our lords in the UFC higher-ups will allow us to see that. Maybe we'll be able to see their record one day. I hear one day we'll know what the height of a fighter is before he makes it to the UFC. Let's move on. I'm picking Michael Oliveira by knockout. Ludovit Klein versus Tofiq Musayev. Tofiq Musayev, number 10 ranked most hated fighter in my most hated fighter video. Go watch it if you haven't already. I fucking hate Tofiq Musayev. Look at his fucking face, man. Just look at this shit. He looks like a villain in a movie. You know what I mean? Ludovit Klein, please knock him the fuck out. I'm going to pick him to knock him out. Tofiq Musayev is a fraud. He shouldn't be in the UFC. He has 2 fights in the UFC. The first one was against Earlby, where he got submitted in round 1. And then his second fight, he got dropped badly by Bahamundes, and then ends up grabbing the cage with 2 hands as Bahamundes tries to take him down. Bahamundes doesn't get the takedown. Tofiq Musayev ends up on top, ground and pounds him, opens up a big cut, ends up winning by decision. He should have absolutely lost that fight by TKO. If he didn't grab the cage, he would have been TKO'd. He was rocked on the feet, grabbed the cage to stay up. Ludovit Klein's really good. His most recent loss was to... What's his name? God damn it, man. It sucks that I can't remember these guys' names. He just got out-grappled by Mateusz. I remember his first name. So there's something there. Mateusz. I'm going to be so upset when I... Gamrot. So he fought Mateusz Gamrot and then Mateusz Rebecki. They're just giving him the Mateuszes. So he fought Gamrot. And Gamrot took him down over and over again. But that's what happens, man. You're a lightweight prospect. You got taken down by Gamrot. Join the club, man. Tofiq Musayev is a grappler. He's not as good as Gamrot. Let's just get that straight. He's not Gamrot. I'm telling you, he better not be. I think Ludovit Klein will be able to stuff the takedowns. He has really sick boxing, and I think he'll be able to knock out Tofiq Musayev. Let's put it in round 2. Please, for the love of God, put him out. Please. Ludovit Klein, knock out Tofiq Musayev, my life is yours, you know? You'll be a savior of this channel. And let's move on to the main card. Jesus Christ. And what a way to start the main card, but with 2 no-names. This is just the new thing we're doing. Milos Jancic versus Noah Gugnon. Jesus Christ, man. Neither of these guys have been in the UFC. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Hey, black on black crime. What are we doing here? Whoa! I said we don't want Dagestani on Dagestani crime anymore. This is not what I was asking for. Okay, let's talk. I've been watching the highlights of them because I'm not going to watch 5 fights each. So I watched a highlight video on both of them. I was first just going to pick Jancic because he has a better record. You can't see it here, but just trust me, he has a better record of the 2. I think Noah Gugnon is 9-2, and Milos Jancic is 19-3. And when you watch it, you're like, how the hell? No, Gugnon is 9-1, I believe is what it is. And the other was 19-2. You watch their highlights and you're like, how the hell did you guys beat that many people? They're both not that good. Noah Gugnon is a little bit more technical. Milos Jancic, he's not technical at all. But he, again, this is the theme of the card. He's here for a scrap. They're all just here to scrap. You're going to see a lot of knockouts on this card or a lot of wars on this card. These guys just come forward and are ready for it. And Jancic, like, again, not super technical at all, but he gets the job done. He has a good chin and a lot of power. And Gugnon, I watched one of his TKOs. He kind of quit, and I know it was a couple years ago, but once a quitter, always a quitter. Maybe. I don't know. You'll have to prove me otherwise. Jancic, I haven't seen him quit yet. They both are sloppy on the feet. Again, Gugnon's a little bit more technical, but Jancic has a little bit more of that power. So I think he's going to knock out Gugnon round 2. We're picking a round 2 Jancic knockout, but I don't fucking know these guys. Why are you doing this to me, UFC? This isn't supposed to be a full-time job trying to figure out. Every time I open, it's a fight night, and it's not even the Apex. This is like a crowded fight night, and I open it up, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I have to find out who 10 of these fucking fighters are, because they've never been in the UFC before. So I'm picking Jancic. Next up, Vlasto Chepo versus Gilbert Urbina. So Chepo, he's a fucking marauder. And I'm not even saying that ironically. He's actually a marauder. Watch his fights. He just comes forward, throws bombs, doesn't care if he'll get knocked out. I think he's been knocked out once, maybe. Let's fact check that. Jamie, pull it up. Has Vlasto Chepo been knocked out? I am Jamie, by the way, in case you guys were curious. That's me as well. Well, he's 14-3. Has he been knocked out? Decision, sub. Decision. He's never been knocked out. We're picking him to win. Either way, I was going to pick him to win. Gilbert Urbina is dog shit. He's not good. He's coming off of a knockout loss to Uros Medic. But to be fair, he did drop Medic early in that round. But Medic gets dropped a lot. Not recently, which is going to affect my pick in the main event. But it used to be his thing. He gets dropped and then he knocks you out. I don't think Urbina is going to knock out Chepo, and I think Chepo has a lot of power, and we've seen Urbina out cold, so I think Chepo can get it done. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Urbina just lands the perfect shot. A lot of these guys that I'm picking to win, I'm probably going to pick against them in their next fight, because I don't think they're good. I just think they're better than the opponent in front of them right now. And also, I'm noticing now that this is at middleweight. So Urbina at middleweight, that's even worse. Now he's going up a weight class, and Chepo is really big. So, yeah, and 7-5 record, Gilbert Urbina, female-ass record right here. Female MMA-ass record. I'm picking Chepo. Let's move on to Dusko Todorovic versus Robert Valentin. Timu Yuri Prohaska in the works. I am picking Valentin because I'm biased and I like Valentin. And Dusko Todorovic, he's a grappler, right? Like, all of his wins come by via grappling. But the thing is, first of all, he's a Zachary Reese victim. There aren't many of them. There aren't many Zachary Reese victims around, but you're one of them somehow. Somehow you lost to Zachary Reese. But Robert Valentin, he's a victim of a lot of people too. He lost to that guy who looked like Luke Rockhold on The Ultimate Fighter. He got out-grappled there. Then he got knocked out. And then after that, he fought Torres Finney and got completely out-grappled. So I could see, is he an underdog? He's a favorite. I want to pick an underdog. Come on, man. He's a favorite. He's 1-3 in the UFC, which is pretty crazy. But he just came off the win. Before that, he was 0-3 in the UFC. And the thing is, I think once he got the win in the UFC, it made him more confident going forward. Like, I mean, the guys he got fed to, besides for the first loss, which is just a bad look, losing to Ryan Loder. Ryan Loder made us think that people who beat him were good, because we're like, well, Ryan Loder is good, so now whoever beats him is good. And then the people who beat him ended up not being good either. So it's like, so now how bad is Robert Valentin? But then after that, he got fed to Teba Gutierrez. Well, first it was Torres Finney, lost by split decision. Torres, and it should, I think he could have won that one. If you're going strictly based off damage, Torres Finney landed nothing, and Robert Valentin was being good about getting back up to his feet and landing damage on the feet. And then in his last fight, getting fed to fucking Altebe Gutierrez, like, that's not fair. What are you doing, man? Do you like him or not? Why are we just feeding these guys to Altebe Gutierrez if they look like Yuri Prohaska? We should want them to get wins. We shouldn't be doing this to them. We shouldn't be setting them up. But Todorovic, he's really not that good. And Robert Valentin is coming off a first-round sub. He was crying. He said in the camp before that his mom passed away. So imagine that. You're getting ready to face Altebe Gutierrez, and then your mom passes away during fight week. That's brutal. Of course he lost. Otherwise, he would have beat Altebe Gutierrez. I'm sure of it. I'm sure that's why he didn't beat Altebe Gutierrez. I'm picking him to win by knockout. I've seen Todorovic out cold. Who was it by? I think it was by Christian Leroy Duncan knocked him out. So I've seen his body already limp before, so I can picture it again. I'm picking Robert Valentin to knock him out in round 1. Round 2. Round 1. I already picked 2 round 2 knockouts, so we have to switch it up to round 1. Let's move on to Alexander Rakic versus Marcin Tybura. And to pick this fight, I have one word for you. Lighter man skill. That's one word. There's no spaces. Alexander Rakic, he's a light heavyweight, moving up to heavyweight. Somehow he's the taller one. He's 6'4". Marcin Tybura is 6'3". I always picture Tybura a little bit bigger, but Rakic should win this one. I looked it up, by the way. Do you guys know Rakic hasn't won since 2021? Isn't that crazy? To be fair, he's been fed to all the killers. He's basically the guy at light heavyweight. If you beat him, you get a title shot. Except for Murzakhanov, who beat him and then had to fight Paulo Costa. Because I think he's been losing so much that it's not even that cool anymore to beat him, you know? But but all these light heavyweights are moving up to heavyweight. We're seeing a lot of success with them because they don't have to do a crazy weight cut. Because again, 6'4" at light heavyweight, and he's got some muscle on him. He's not skinny. He's cutting a lot of weight. So now he doesn't have to cut weight anymore. Expect to see him bigger than before. He might not even have abs. He might be starting to, not lay off the cake as much. And they're enjoying life up here. Their facial structures are changing. These light heavyweights, you see them at weigh-ins at heavyweight, and they have a round face all of a sudden. There's no more jawline, nothing, So look, I think he's going to be a lot quicker than Marcin Tybura. I think, and the thing is, Marcin Tybura, if you have speed, you're going to knock him out. There is a level between Marcin Tybura and he's the gatekeeper, but he's letting a lot of people through the gate these days. That the black wrestler who he let by, who just got knocked out, and he beat Marcin Tybura. It's like, okay, so you're not really that good anymore. We can't really rely on you as like, oh, if they beat Marcin Tybura, they're good. And if you're not that good, Rakic is going to beat you. Rakic was just fighting like killers, like Yuri Prohaska. Who else has he fought? Jan Blachowicz. What's his name? The other guy. Everybody. He's fought them all. Doesn't matter. Point is, he hasn't won in a really long fucking time. And now, hopefully, can we get Alexander Rakic win in 2026? Let's pray to God for it. Yeah, why not? Let him win. And he's Serbian, even though it says he's from Austria. I could have sworn he's from Serbian. What is he doing on this card if he's from Austria? I don't know. Let's move on to... Is this the co-main event? It is. Jesus, this is a weak-ass card, man. Co-main event, Jan Blachowicz versus Navajo Stirling. I'm very worried because look at the fucking odds. Can you see it? How about now? Now? I don't know. At some point, you're going to see the odds. It's minus 320 for Navajo Stirling, and I don't know why. Is it just because Jan Blachowicz is 75? So that's it? So Navajo Stirling, white Israel Adesanya is going to beat Jan Blachowicz just because he's old? I don't think so. Navajo Stirling is 10-0, but he's not fighting a high level of contenders, He just fought Ion Cutelaba. I picked Ion Cutelaba against him, as you've all witnessed, and I was almost right. It was a good pick, in my opinion. I stand by that pick. It was good in theory, but Ion Cutelaba just quit halfway through round 2. But before that, he was ragdolling Navajo Stirling, so that's what I'm confused about. Navajo Stirling did not look good in his last fight, and you'd watch all of his fights. He's technical, but he lacks the finishing instinct. I know that technically he's coming off of 2 finishes, but that Ion Cutelaba, you can't really call that a finish if Ion Cutelaba just sat down and decided to watch the sunset in the middle of a fight. That's not a finish. You didn't TKO him, But the thing is, in a way, Navajo Stirling is actually fighting backwards in competition. He's not fighting up the rankings. He's fighting down the rankings. Just ask AI. Listen to Meta. The Meta rankings has Navajo Stirling at number 10, somehow, despite fighting no ranked opponents at all, and Jan Blachowicz at number 13. Also, just fucking ridiculous. So, based off that, Navajo Sterling, this is actually a step down in competition for him. He's giving Jan Blachowicz an opportunity to fight the number 10 ranked guy in the world. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck AI is doing. These meta rankings are shit. And the funny thing is, when they fight, it just shows their real rankings because everybody knows that that's the real one. So I don't even know what... I think meta is really just there to rage bait people. That's all it is. They're literally here for rage bait. Let's get into the breakdown of it, right? So Jan Blachowicz, he's coming off like 5... I don't know, when's the last time we had just like a clean Jan Blachowicz win? When the fuck has it been? Who has he beat last? I don't even remember. It's just been like a draw and then a close loss to Alex Pereira and then another close loss to Olberg. Like, just arguably a robbery, Olberg, arguably a robbery against Pereira, arguably a robbery against Magomed Ankalaev, and then he went to another draw after that with Bogdan Guskov. And even that one, like, again, he won 2 of the rounds. I know that the round he got dropped in was pretty bad, but it's like a pretty weak 10-8. The point is, I know he's coming off of like 4 non-wins. The last time he won was years ago. It was probably against Rakic, his last win. I don't know. I think his last win was Rakic. The point is, I could see AI putting him at number 15 or number 13. He was at 15, by the way. They moved him up despite him not winning another fight. So fuck AI. Anyway, the point is, I think Navajo Sterling is a very big step down. Again, like, he went to a competitive decision with Olberg that I thought he won. And Olberg is now the champ. For God's sakes. As much as I don't want to admit it, he is. You know? So, Jan Blachowicz, I really think will win this. I think he's going to knock out Navajo Sterling. Please, please, can we get a vintage Jan Blachowicz knockout? If he loses to Navajo Sterling, it is really over. The Jan Blachowicz career is over. It's time to wrap it up. Gramp at this point, you know? What is he? He's like 43. Like, not even kidding. The guy's 43. Still fighting these guys. And Navajo Sterling is much younger. I think he's early 30s. He's going to be taller, but he doesn't have that much power, and I don't think he's going to knock out Jan Blachowicz. That hasn't happened in a really long time. If Alex Pereira didn't knock him out, Navajo Sterling shouldn't be able to knock him out. Please. Please let that be true. All right, I'm picking Jan Blachowicz. Please don't disappoint me. If he loses a robbery decision against Navajo Sterling, he's just cursed. He just really is cursed. Please, you have to get a finish. You know what they're going to do to you. Let's move on to the main event of the evening. Uros Medic versus Daniel Rodriguez. Again, another scrap. I think a lot of these fights are going to be scraps. Uros Medic is on a 3-fight first-round knockout streak, ending in knocking out Jeff Neal in round 1. I think in like minute 1. Literally knocked the snot out of him. And that was very impressive. I did not expect him to win. Before that, he beat the Kung Fu King, whatever his name is. I don't remember, but you know who I'm talking about. He knocked him out. Before that was Gilbert Urbina, who he knocked out. And he's on a run. He's just knocking people the fuck out. I know he lost to Polyeti Suriano by knockout as well. That happened right before the win streak. But since then, he's been looking really good. And Daniel Rodriguez, I know technically he's at the height of his career right now because he's ranked like number 10 or whatever. I don't think so. Maybe like number 13. I don't know what the rankings are. But he just beat Kevin Holland. And by just, I mean a year ago. After he went, and then after that, he went to prison in fucking Mexico for trying to smuggle weed across the border. And so he's been in prison until now, and he's back. And I know he said he's been training in prison this whole time, but I don't think he's getting boxing privates with like a great boxing coach. I think he's just hitting a bag. I don't think that's gonna keep you in shape the way while that happened, Uros Medic was flatlining everybody. So I think was it cage rust? I think that's a real thing. And Medic has been active. And the last thing is, like, Daniel Rodriguez, again, like, he beat Kevin Holland by a close decision that, in a way, could have gone either way. Kevin Holland could have knocked him out and decided to grapple with him after dropping him badly. Like, Kevin Holland was on the way to finishing him. So Kevin kind of fumbled that for himself. But that's what Kevin Holland does. You think he's going to lose a fight, and he wins, and then he gets a layup like Daniel Rodriguez, and he fucking manages a way to lose somehow. And meanwhile, like, Medic is knocking out fucking... And like, knocking out Jeff Neal is pretty impressive. You know, like, I know Carlos Prates did it, but that's it, right? It's just him and Carlos Prates. And I think Kevin Holland back in the day, actually. This is ball knowledge right here. Kevin Holland knocked out Jeff Neal, I'm almost certain of it, in like the regional scene. And if not, he beat him by decision. But Kevin Holland definitely beat Jeff Neal back in the day. But the point is, knocking him out in round 1 is very impressive. And I think the speed is going to be the big difference. Medic has a lot of speed. He throws hand combos. He'll throw a kick and then a cross behind it. Like, I could just see him throwing a kick. Daniel Rodriguez blocks it. And then as he's bringing the kick back, throwing a cross, dropping Rodriguez badly, lands a couple ground and pound shots, and it's over. I could just picture that so much. They're going to be the same height. They're both 6'1". And Rodriguez is slow, and when he knocks people out or even when he drops people, it's at the end of a combo. He'll throw a 3-4 punch combo, and the last one catches him off guard, and then he knocks them out. But even then, his knockouts and knockdowns come in round 2, round 3. Medic is putting you out in round 1. There is no round 2 with Medic. I really think this is going to be a quick fight. It's going to be anticlimactic. Like, this isn't the type of fight that you should put as a main event. If anything, they should have switched it. Put Jan Blachowicz versus Navajo Stirling as a main event, and then put these guys as the co-main event, because it's not going around. We're wasting the 5 rounds that Jan Blachowicz might need. If he's down 2 rounds, we need those last 3 rounds for Jan Blachowicz. So why are we giving it to these guys who don't need it? There's no way this goes into round 4. It's not going to happen. I'm picking Medic by round 1 KO. I think he's a lot quicker. And it would be very entertaining to see him against some of the higher ranked guys, you know? Like, how does a Medic versus Prates fight go? I know how it goes. Medic probably gets flatlined in round 1, but it's still entertaining. There's still that aspect that maybe he's going to do it. He has a lot of power. He puts people out, you know? Anyway, so that's it for today. That is my full card breakdown. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you haven't already, why haven't you subscribed yet? What the hell, man? So do that, and I'll see you in the next video, which is going to be the reaction to this card. All right, see you, man.